Dude, moms love me, man.
Mhm. That's the key to pediatrics, huh? Is
Right.
get the moms to love you, and then you're golden.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah. Yeah.
So we just wrapped up the podcast with dentistry with Steven, and I thought we would just talk about his social media and his attitude, but we talked about so much more about why he has his current attitude, how he went from an awful fee for service, seemed like the dream associateship, to working in a Medicaid mill, and he's as happy and rich as he's ever been. So I think you're going to love hearing about Steven's growth as a dentist, but more as a person. So without further ado, enjoy our conversation with Dentistry with Steven. Anyway, so
Yeah, I think
what's
you
up?
gotta hold it up like this.
Fuck. Okay, fine. Anyway, Steven, how do you
Yeah.
have this much energy all the time?
Dude,
Seriously.
I don't know. I just uploaded something right now. Like 2 things, 3 things. I don't know. I mean, literally yesterday though, I was like tired for the first time in like 2 years ever. Because the handpieces
Were you
were
feeling
like
sick?
not. Yeah, actually, yes. I was
Yeah.
feeling sick a little bit, but usually even when I'm sick, I don't feel it. It's like it's really like a mindset thing. And yesterday the handpieces got to me, and I was like, I'm annoyed, right? Took a little breather,
Mhm.
washed my face, and just basically got back into it. But yeah, usually I always have energy no matter what. And I think, I mean, this is why we're talking right now is, I guess, harnessing the energy that you guys see online on my page.
Mhm.
And I think it's because I try to find the good in everything, every aspect of my life, like relationships with other people, uh, talking to strangers on the street, traffic, things like that. Like, oh, I got cut off. Well, maybe they have somewhere better to go, and I did not get into an accident, so it's fine. It's like that.
It's,
Honestly,
I
you
though,
know,
it's because
That
I
is such a good thing. Yeah,
read the
keep
book.
going.
Read the book called Happiness Advantage. That really like I started to think this way for a while, but then like I basically solidified this mindset in stone, like this neural like plasticity and this whole new way of thinking by reading more books that are like
Mhm.
about that stuff, you know? So that's my programming now.
top three books. I mean, I've heard of Happiness Advantage,
Okay.
but maybe some lesser known ones.
Okay. 10x rule, happiness
Mhm.
advantage. And the one I'm reading right now is really good. It's about manifestation. It's called Beyond Wanting by Matt Cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like every male at some point in their life goes through the self-development journey. My book was
Mhm.
12 Rules of Life, Jordan Peterson, right? I
Okay.
know it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
a little edgy, but it was the first book that I read, and I feel like I started applying to my life. Because I feel like all
Mm.
these books have the same general mantra. But you also
Yeah.
meet the guy who has, and or gal, but I think it's mostly guys, who have read
Yeah.
like 30 self-help books, and they
Oh,
are no
yeah.
different from the person they were a year ago. So
Changed the damn
what
thing.
what
You don't need that
yeah,
many. You don't need that
what
many.
was it about this book or that point in your life where you feel like you actually made a change in your life?
Mhm.
Say that one more time. The last part. When, like
So
when?
so you read The Happiness Advantage. You could have just gotten on to the next book. You could have just said,
Mhm.
screw it, I'm going to read
Mhm.
pediatric dentistry textbook.
Mhm.
But you took that book and you implemented into your life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Was it the
Mhm.
point in time, or what was it about that book that made you say, hey, I need to change?
Well, I think the real big turning point was when I transitioned from my previous job to this one, where I didn't like the way my life was going. And it was tough being under that previous associateship. It was very strict. And then I was just saying, you know what? that day I'm gonna change my life. And I just started thinking more positively because I just saw it as like a new beginning. And
Mhm.
then I took everything as an opportunity. For example, when I first started, uh, real late notice, and they're like, "Hey, can we, let you know really early in the morning? You know, the doctor might call out, and I'm not ready. I haven't even seen kids before, and
Mhm.
I did shadow though, but I was like, man, this is an opportunity. I should take it. Take
Mhm.
every opportunity that comes my way because it could help me. So I did,
Mhm.
I was waiting for that text at 4 a.m. I was like, I put my alarm clock at 3 in case I got a text. Got the
Mhm.
text at like 4, and then I said, "Yeah, I can work today." And then it was a full pediatric dentistry, 4 hygiene columns, 2 operative columns. I've never done that before, and then
Mhm.
I freaking rocked it. And then that opportunity, seeing that as an opportunity, I saw in myself like, okay, here's another opportunity. I can let the owners know that I can handle this schedule. So keep
Mhm.
giving me more patients. So
Mhm.
thinking like that and seeing where doors could be opened helped me just keep thinking that way and lead me to where I am now. I actually have replaced 2 pediatric dentists with one of myself in the location I am now. So
Dang.
everything was intentional in the way I was thinking and planning things. I just took everything as an opportunity. Oh, kids F1, F2 behavior. You know what? I'm going to learn how to manage them so they don't have to be put to sleep. The parents want
Mhm.
that. That's a skill I can learn. I don't have to like blow up and be like, yeah, I can't handle this. You know, everything is opportunity.
Mhm. How did you learn that? Textbook, YouTube, CE?
Oh, pediatric dentistry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I shadowed first of all, and then the pediatric dentistry owners had certain tips on how to like place SSCs, things like that. There actually is not that much online pediatric dental CE. There is now. Dr. Nash and
Popple.
Dr. What?
Popple, I think he posts a lot of
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
on
The,
DCP. He does the
yeah, yeah,
sticky
yeah.
notes, and
Yep,
they're
yep,
pretty
yep.
cute little drawings and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Dr.
I've
Little
learned a lot from
Smiles.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Little Smiles. They have a workshop now.
Okay.
So it's starting. We're gonna start to have more of that online stuff for us to learn from. And then,
Were you scared?
I said I would never see kids ever.
I feel like a lot of us are that way. We like kids. Like I love kids, but
Yeah,
it seems scary. Like I mean, we do
it is.
extractions on old people, but I don't know. Um, I know I get scared when I have to do an SSC. So what was like your other than just attitude, because you obviously have an amazing
Yeah,
attitude, what
yeah,
was it that allowed you to break into kids? Because I feel like that's a barrier for a lot of us.
yeah. I mean, it was a thing that I wasn't like really looking for because I literally told myself I would never see kids because I got traumatized one time from my previous job. It took me like an hour for 2 fillings, and my gosh, couldn't handle it. They're
Painful. Yeah.
screaming bloody murder, right? But it's actually because we don't have enough repetitions with it.
Mhm.
I work in a Medicaid pediatric dentistry office, so by the sheer volume, it just gives you that experience. Just like a
Mhm.
couple days is enough, to
Yeah.
just break you and to get
Done
used to
enough reps.
all the crime.
Yeah. No, I love that. You've talked a little bit on your page and stuff, and you mentioned it briefly about your first associateship.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
is that something you're open to talk about?
Yeah. What's up?
Just like it sounded like he was
I
like
can
auditing your
see you
work.
wincing on the
Um,
inside.
yeah, like it obviously made you an excellent clinician. At least
Yeah.
that's been my
Yeah.
outside perspective.
Right.
And you know so much, and to branch over to kids, but so like I don't know, was it good? Was it bad? Would you? What was your take? Would you
So,
share more about it?
yeah, financially, it was bad because
Okay.
at first I had a decent daily guarantee. and then I'll be running behind, redoing work. The post-ops have open margins, and then I could just tell he was frustrated, and then I offered to reduce my pay,
Okay.
800 down to 500. Let's be transparent. And then I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I presented it. He said yes, and we're like, okay. And then what surprised me though is he said this is going to work retroactively.
Ooh.
So what that means is everything he's paid me is now overpayment.
Wow.
So I owed the practice. So the next paycheck was a $0 paycheck.
Zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I mean, this is just the logistics. This is how it's supposed to be, but just mentally and psychologically, how I dealt with it. I mean, I drove home that day, just pulled the side of the road and just cried because I was like, damn, this is dentistry,
Yeah.
to be treated like this. It sucks, And then,
Definitely.
yeah, post-ops after everything. But the thing is, I trust him with my dental work. I just got my filling done. I just went back over there.
I saw your post. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like
So
good dentist,
there's a
but
reason.
okay.
There's a reason for this madness. They pay fee for service fees, like it's got to be good. It's got to last decades. I've seen his fillings last decades. So
Mm-hmm.
if mine aren't lasting and they're having sensitivity, like realistically, am I worth the price? No, my boss is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to live up to that and then basically relearn dentistry in that way. Now that's why, doing the work I do now on Medicaid pediatrics, they're having the same quality, but at a very lower price,
Discounted price. Yeah.
So everything I learned there helped me become efficient, fast, and high quality here.
Was it actually his mentorship, or were you living in fear and trying? No, I mean, I'm kind of serious, right? Because I started working for a prosthodontist,
Yeah.
and I came from a, corporate, I was a solo doc. Again, I feel like I hold myself to a high standard. I'm not anyone special. I think most dentists do. But when you're by yourself, it's different.
Totally.
You are your own worst critic, but when no one's looking over you, it's different. Now I have this prosthodontist, and she is one of the most amazing clinicians I've ever, I see her preps and I'm just like, and she's not looking over my shoulder, but she looks at the scans afterwards. Obviously, when the patient's gone, when she's there, I always ask her, I'm like, hey, help me out, whatever. Like, what do you think? But when you have someone looking over you, it's a different environment, right? But I feel like my environment's a positive one. Even though I'm scared, she it's like when your mom's mad at you or your dad's mad at you and they just kind of sit down quietly.
That's exactly what I felt. I felt like he was my dad, like shaking his head at me, like, I'm disappointed in you, son. And I mean, he kind of viewed, he didn't have sons. He had daughters. I think he kind of viewed me as his nephew and son, but it was like a very harsh type of tough love type of thing.
Did he have associates before you?
He did. Yeah.
Did you talk to them? What did you get?
No, they're gone already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you were him, how would you have approached your mentorship differently?
I mean, that's really different because, how I am as a dentist is how I treat my assistants. And that would be the same way I treat whoever shadows me and whoever works under me. Is basically what I do now is that, tell them good things and be like, hey, this is what you can improve and this is why. But I wouldn't say things like your work looks like Western dental work when it had perfect accessory canals, but it was off by 3 degrees at the most 8th apical portion of the RCT.
Yeah.
You're
like, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why my margins are the way they are now. That's nothing compared to what I had to deal with.
What you were dealing with
the tapers of the RCT. Come on, man.
Wow.
Interesting.
So, you mentioned, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you mentioned, wow, we fucking suck at this. Can you tell we don't practice? Tony, go ahead.
Okay. So right from the start, and what everyone I feel like knows you for most is attitude, right?
Yeah,
And
uh-huh.
something that I feel like that's always been important to me is maintaining a
Mm,
positive attitude and trying to find the best in things, and even in like a negative situation. But I've worked at a fee for service clinic where I went home and cried one day as well. The
mhm,
guy was
mhm,
40 years ahead of me in his career. Everyone in the staff would look down at me. I wasn't as good, and eventually that eats at you. So
mhm, yep.
what would you say to those doctors that are in that spot today? Get out, keep going. There's likely no universal answer, but
There,
having
yeah.
lived it, what would
You're
you
a
say
failure.
to
Don't be a
Stephen?
dentist.
I mean, I don't regret anything I've gone through because it basically made me who I am today. I mean, I did call him and text him and said, "Hey, I don't think I'm, like, meant for this." Right? He called
Hmm.
me after, and he said some words like, "Steven, you wouldn't be here if I thought you were average, and I know
Hmm.
you're not average."
Hmm.
Said I mean, he said it's, like, up to me, but I know you're not average. So that made me think, like, "Shit, man."
I
That
got
they
this.
got me they got me in the
Yeah.
feels, and I was like, "You know what? Fuck. I'm gonna I'm gonna push through." I'm
Hmm.
gonna push through. Stay late after work, did the look at my, impressions, go in on the weekends, start prepping teeth on crown preps, like I've class 2s. I feel like I'm going back to dental school, right?
Hmm.
And I've done it before, like, I've done it in my previous jobs, but I mean, like, it's like a life or death situation, I don't know. And then I would, do endo on some teeth and just you gotta put in the work sometimes. I mean,
Hmm.
to the people that are watching this, I mean, I can't tell you what to do with your life because they can like, the thing about being an associateship, you're, like, pausing your life to like, work for somebody else.
Hmm.
Unless
That's a
like,
very good
unless
way
it's,
to
like,
put it.
going well, you're essentially pausing your life, and I don't wanna make that decision for you, but for me, it allowed me to learn, and, I mean, I got laid off not because of the, my work or whatever, but it's just because of insurance issues and stuff like that. He had to let me go. So I was thankful for that. Otherwise, I would have
Hmm.
stayed longer
Okay.
than needed.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's
Do you
kind of worked
find
out.
yourself do you find yourself in toxic relationships often?
That's so funny. Um,
So
I wouldn't say so, but I mean that's a good observation because hey, because if you're in a toxic relationship with your work environment, you could be in a toxic relationship in your relationships because that's the
Hmm.
type of person you are. It's gonna be like
right.
paralleled in every aspect of your life. That's a great question.
I find people like you, obviously not speaking from experience, we have that I can work on it mentality, right? It could be really bad. It could be really
Hmm.
tough on us.
Hmm.
And we always
Hmm.
think, oh, I can work this out. Like if I just keep
Yeah.
working at it, right?
Right.
It'll get better. Um,
Mm.
I'm curious, what were you like in high school? Like, were you always this happy? No, because I find that a lot of the and I'm going to call you successful because you're doing something more with dentistry. I find that a lot of the best clinicians are not online. They're just being
Mhm.
good clinicians. They don't
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
egos.
Mhm.
You're a great clinician. I know you know that. Don't be like humble. We think
Thank
that,
you. Thank
but
you.
you are using it in a very, honestly, I think humble. And obviously, those messages you post, people are so uplifted by your work and how you approach it. Were you similar in high school? Were you this happy-go-lucky guy? Were you like a athlete and a valedictorian and all this, or like?
Alex, great questions. Very thought-provoking questions. Um, Looking back, I wouldn't say I was like happy-go-lucky. I would say I was just like normal, right? When life hits you, yeah, you get sad.
Mhm.
When life is good, you're happy, right? I would say that's like
Mhm.
an average person. Like for me now, life hits you. Well, how did it hit me? That kind of hurt. That was a little bruise. Whatever. I
Mhm.
learned from it. So I think what I've always been though is how I am to my sisters, which is like motivate them and show them the like working hard always pays off and having a great attitude is going to get you out of that sad feeling you have right now, like me to my
Mhm.
sisters. Right. And I think that's like how I talk to my or vibe with my patients now is I kind of treat them like family and be like, hey, buddy, like, guess what? You just got a shot and you didn't feel it. Right. And then,
Mhm.
have that type of like energy that I have with my sisters. And that's why I feel so fun for me because I see it as, how I was in like choir. I'm like performing.
Mhm.
And then being with my sisters, I like to make them laugh and think I'm silly and all that stuff. So I think
Mhm.
that was who I was always been, but not necessarily, like in high school, like that personality is different.
Mhm.
What tone or like, I know alto, soprano, tenor, bass, which one
Oh,
were you?
I mean, just guess.
I was gonna say, how much do we have to pay you to sing Ave Maria?
Yeah.
Why were you drawn
Uh,
to choir? Why choir?
I didn't think I could sing that well, but I saw some of my friends go on and then did I don't know if every high school has pops, but it's like a random selection of songs and then like it's put together as a story and you perform it as a choir, a cappella.
Oh,
And
nice.
I would do I mean, it's big choir, it's not small. And then in college, I continued it too. But man, I could not read notes. I got lectured about it. I could have sing if my other bass guy was not there.
Okay.
So don't ask me to sing. Um, but I enjoyed it because, yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I haven't really reflected on it, but performing and just being on stage feels good. I like dancing.
Mhm.
I know you guys like dancing.
Mhm.
I don't really perform dancing, but I like vibing out.
You do.
Mhm.
I think every time you show yourself vibing out on social media, that is a performance for
Yeah.
the tens of thousands of people who watch you. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm serious, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's before crowds were only in person.
yeah.
You see
It's
that
true.
post when it's like,
Mhm.
oh, only 100 people viewed or like this post, and it shows you a room of 100 people, and
Oh
I'd be
yeah,
like,
Pretty
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
pumped.
kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would kill to
Yeah.
have a room of 100 people.
yeah. Right.
No, I mean that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you ever shy? Did this bring you out of your shell, or
Oh.
you just, yeah?
I was totally shy. High school, totally shy. College, not as shy. And then I think I started leaning into my weaknesses where I think one of the pre-dental society like presidents was or board were saying, "Hey, we want you to be the next president." So it's not even like actually voting, but it's just like handoff of
Yeah.
like
And pass it over.
power or whatever. So I was like, "Oh shoot, I gotta lean in again, lean into the weakness,
Mhm.
right?" So public speaking was something I was working on, and that's what
Okay.
I honed in on. So yeah, got over being shy really, and I think what helps you just break out of the shell or be more confident is that you have like a feedback loop in dentistry in life in talking to strangers things like that feedback loop meaning you have a success feels great. Let's do it again. You have a rejection. Fine. Let's try again. But then the more success that you have, that becomes your new identity in every aspect
Mhm.
of your life. So that's why everybody needs to take post-ops or intraoral photos because it's that positive feedback loop that helps you.
Do you mean like a bite wing after you say you did a quad, take a bite wing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I tell young like, the first office I worked at, they made me well, they actually didn't make me, but I started noticing my post-ops coming back 6 months later, and I'd be like, "Oh, man, I wish I woulda caught that same day." So,
Yeah.
can you speak to the learning that you get from those same day post-ops? Like, would you see an error and go fix it immediately right then and there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys
Yep.
see how busy my schedule is. Like, if I can do it, you could do it. But the thing is, the difference between my I guess system is that we do have more assistants, so that
Mhm.
does take in the the pressure a little more. But yeah, I keep them there and I go in there. Like if the person's in the chair already and I notice that, oh, there's a little divot, not enough composite right there, I'm not gonna think twice and be like just recontour it. I'm just gonna grab the handpiece, drill it, and just go to town because I just don't think twice about it. It is
Mhm.
freaking grab it,
Just grab
put
it.
it
You're not
in.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same thing with the post ops.
Yeah.
Immediately after, I'm like, oh crap, open margin, going back in, telling them I'm gonna fix something. No big deal. Smile on the face, zoop, zoop, and then just go to town, right?
Yep.
And the benefit of having a same day post op is because whatever you just felt and how you place your bands or how frustrated you felt
Mhm.
like with a difficult thing, you have immediate translation of what that felt like in your hands and what that looks like on the x-ray.
Yep.
So now I can just guess what my x-rays will look like based on
Yep.
what things I felt, you know? So that's
That's
why like my growth was just not linear, it was exponential, right?
Yep.
I'm consulting pediatric dentists now that have been out
Oh,
4 years.
that's sick.
I didn't go to residency, right? But if people just took post-ops, evaluate their work to a very like harsh level, which I was
Uh-huh.
subjected to, then
Mhm.
you will have exponential increase in skills.
I really love that. That was exactly what I was hoping you were gonna say, because my experience was somewhat similar. I
Yeah, yeah,
just the
yeah.
fixing it when you messed it up, like, the learning
Mhm.
that I had from that, you articulated it way better than I ever could, but
Mm,
that is
mm,
something that I, like, would want every young doc to hear, and don't be ashamed about taking a couple extra bite wings or
yeah,
PAs. I think that's another thing people get ashamed about, and no, you're
yeah.
not charging the patients, you're doing that for your own growth, and, that's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to go into that a little bit more. Do you do a lot of continuing education, or are you more of like a learn by just getting in there and getting some reps kind of guy?
Yeah, I've done quite a few, like, Arrowhead's, new dentist program, which was, like, about
Mhm.
full arch, actually.
Okay.
I did Buchanan's, uh,
Endo.
4-day mini residency endo, yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, people are surprised when I could do pulpectomies, but dude, I just paid $9,000 to do root canals. So,
Yeah, this is a little easier.
this is a smaller tooth.
Yeah.
They're just moving, that's all, right? And I'm not putting, gutta percha in there, I'm putting Vitapex. So,
Okay.
again, this is like with my mantra of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now everything is just easy to me, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice brag. Do you can you go into your health habits? Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
interested, but
Where's my
they
creatine?
right. Um, but they came from a point of pain. If I remember right, I saw like one post or something like you were having back
No.
issues or neck issues.
Oh, bro. Honestly, this really hard time of my career. I think it's the worst it has ever been. But I went for a run, just a casual 3 mile or 1 mile run. And then my back just started spasming. And I think it just revealed a weakness of my daily dental life. I have loops, they're ergo loops, they're 4.5x. So I sit up really straight. But the thing is, the kids are on a bench. So I'm usually like this most of the day,
Okay.
like that. What happens when you do that is that this side starts to get weak because it's not contracting, it's lengthening. And then when I would stand over the patient sometimes, it starts to just over exert itself. So, I mean, I had a PT friend and he just did some online physical therapy, just teaching me through it. And yeah, just doing deadlifts, not deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts and core work helped me a lot. And now it's totally fine. But that's the maintenance I do. And then I do kettlebells now. I'm not as huge as you guys, but it's
Alex.
great for the cardio.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, being huge does not make you a good dentist. I'm pretty sure everything I've read everything I've read about like large muscles and fine motor control is like
Yeah.
inverse. It's like the big you
Yeah.
are, the
Oh,
worse. Yeah,
really?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm just a pretty face. I actually, it's funny that I have 10x ergo loops, and every time everyone says that, they're yeah, dude, they're cannons. Uh,
Yeah, they are.
and my work is still not as good as yours, so maybe one day. Um, but yeah, I mean, we love hearing about the more internal side of you. It
Mhm,
seems like you've actually gone a lot, and you have such a good attitude.
mhm.
What do you feel like is the next step for you?
I mean, I love what I'm doing right now. Great question. Um, I think opportunities will always open doors, or doors will always be open for me, and they'll come when they come.
Mhm.
Um, for example, these guys hired like a social media coordinator, and then they were like mentioning, oh, maybe Steven can help out or whatever. And then I didn't ask to get paid or anything. So when I shadowed, I also didn't ask to get paid. You know, you just sometimes you gotta remember where you're at. And another mantra I have is provide value first. Like with my
Mhm.
online collaborations, with everybody I meet, I provide value first. So I'm making these TikToks for them. They don't have to hire anybody. And eventually, doors will open for me as they are now with more patients coming in and becoming a valuable asset. Well, now if you get rid of Dr. Lou, you got rid of social media. You got rid of like who people are coming for. So
Mhm.
just provide value first and just make yourself irreplaceable.
Yeah. Do you ever want to be an owner, or are you at this point
At this
very
point,
happy
I mean, just speaking financially, like I make more than some, so I don't really need to for the extra
to do that?
stress,
Yep.
right? So right now, no. So I'm good where I'm at.
Love that.
Mostly coming from your dentistry or other income streams, 50-50.
Oh, it's dentistry, yeah,
Okay. No, I
yeah,
figured, but I mean, you never know. Um,
yeah.
I feel like when you hear Medicaid practice, everyone kind of like throws it in their mouth a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but you either make a lot of money doing boutique, high end, high ticket, or a lot
Mhm,
of Medicaid. And I think from what I heard, my friends that worked in Medicaid mills, the quality was poor, all this
mhm.
stuff. And what I love about you, um, platonically, not romantically, is that you are providing. Yeah. Mhm. Um, I want people to see that um, quantity and quality can exist if you
Yeah.
work hard enough. I think that's the most kind of the most incredible stuff that you do. You obviously put in the work, and you are making good money. And you're right, the stress for some people is not worth it. I mean, next steps for you could be anything more than dentistry. Like, have you ever thought about going in a different
Oh,
direction? Is dentistry? No, I mean, and those like our
mhm,
questions are meant to be honestly. I'm sure you've been on other podcasts. I'm sure you've said the associate story. I'm sure you've talked about how hard you work. What
mhm,
is something that you feel like you've never told someone? Something that goes on in your mind, your next
mhm.
steps,
Mhm.
Yeah, great question. So yeah, I am working on something else. Like I said, consulting pediatric dentists, other general dentists on how to do it fast. Because you see on my stories, like if I can do a whole quadrant of permanent teeth for $300 Medicaid, you can do it for $1,200, $1,500 fee for service. And imagine you
Mhm.
do that every 30 minutes. Everybody has cavities because they don't floss, right?
Mhm.
So I want everybody to succeed, right? I'm succeeding in my own way. I want people to succeed in their own way. And I'm working on a course, basically bread and butter dentistry. There's a gap between us graduating and like high end procedures where like, dang, I mean, if you're doing like full arch, dude, learn how to do single crown really well
Yeah.
Yep.
without like thinking about the
Single
occlusion, without
implant.
thinking about the margins, without thinking about, you know, like it cracking. Like you need to do one exceptionally well, right?
Mhm.
I show my class ones. Why? If I can do that well, I can do everything else well. If you can do one crown well, you can do everything else well. So that's what I'm working on, bread and butter dentistry. Um, and that's where I'm headed next.
That's awesome. Tony and I were talking once like about CE and all this. Everyone wants to do full mouth rehab veneers. And Tony, you were telling, and but even the composite veneers I see, whom I
Mhm.
see, Rodri something, the
Oh
art
yeah,
of
yeah, Roger Thomas.
composite, yeah, beautiful stuff. Man, I just want to layer a class too, and like you said, drill that in 5 minutes
2 minutes.
and get perfect. You know, the
Hmm.
anterior composites are great, but how about like a regular class 3 on a Medicaid patient? You
Hmm.
know, am I
Hmm.
going to layer the side of your tooth? And I haven't really found that, and I think that's
Yeah.
again that's great, and I do think people major in the minors. Right, you see all these
Mhm.
full art. You
Mhm.
know, everyone wants to get out of school and do full arch, even if they've done single implants. But it's like, I mean, sure, if you want to do surgery, do your thing, but
Yeah.
I feel like the doc that's taking out wisdom teeth every 15 minutes, the general
Hmm.
dentist who's doing wisdom teeth every like or quadrant fillings and crowns, lower risk, higher reward, you know,
Hmm.
a lot more less stress, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was the same way, which was graduating dental school or in dental school too. I had a camera. I was taking photos of, anterior cases. I'm gonna be a cosmetic dentist because I like that lifestyle, how it's gonna be,
Mhm.
like being respected, like, oh, life-changing transformations, right? But I realized you can change lives in different ways.
Mhm.
You can talk to the patient and change their life. You don't have to sell a 25,000, 30,000 treatment plan and change your smile and then change your life. You can just change their life just by one filling, giving them a great experience, hearing their story. Boom. You
Showing
could
that
be
they
that
can do the
salesman.
dentistry. Like in your world,
Exactly.
probably a lot of it is like, can I get this kid to show up? Can I get them to not cry? Can
Yeah.
they even not even say if it was positive? If they can be like, it wasn't horrible. Because I think for a lot of people, it's like dentistry is just horrible. And
Yeah.
you know what? I
Yeah.
saw Dr. Steven and it just wasn't horrible. I can do that again. I'll go back and see this guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at least in my world, I feel like in dentistry, that is like huge. If you can get those people that would never come back in, especially kiddos, to keep coming in, like you're getting at changing lives. You changed their life. They will have teeth longer because of what you did,
Yeah.
unequivocally. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did something change in you? What? Because like, look, cosmetic dentists have a rep, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do they say? If if they're one of three things, you'll know within the first sentence, like a pilot, a vegan, and probably a cosmetic dentist, right? Because
Uh-huh.
they'll tell you.
Yeah.
But it's a very external profession, right? You kind of know one when you see one. And you
Uh-huh.
said you wanted to be respected, which made me think that you
Mhm.
were looking for this sort of acceptance from people and being
Yeah.
seen in another way. And now you
Yeah.
seem the opposite of that. Do you still feel like part of that is like in you because of the social media, because you're still showing everyone?
To, like, want to be respected.
100%.
Yeah. I think it is human nature to feel desired, cared for, and respected.
Mhm,
It's in Glasgow's, like, hierarchy of needs or whatever, right?
mhm.
And, I think that's why it's so hard for us as general dentists to go to work when the patients tell us they freaking hate us, when we're
Mhm,
trying when we're when we're trying to help them. Why do we go down to
mhm,
school? Because 'Cause we're trying to help you, you know? Why do we go
mhm,
through all that 8 years of schooling? We're trying to help you. We're not gonna torture you, right?
mhm,
And, it's it's not a want now or anything. I just think, like, again, I think differently now, which is I become a person that is respectable.
mhm,
Then that will just come. But am I searching for that, no. I attract it. That's the way I try to think. So how would a respectable Dr. Lou walk in? Or how would a confident Dr. Lou walk in and finish the case? Or, an upset parent, how would a respectable Dr. Lou respond?
Mhm,
That's how I think.
mhm,
I think, it's easy for our ego to get in the way and be like, I'm the effing doctor. You respect me.
mhm.
It's very easy for us to think like that because we put in the work for it. We sacrifice a lot of money for it and time, and for people to like question us when we're just trying to help them
Do the best
or
for
say
them.
you're not worth it or you're ridiculous for that amount of price, then we feel disrespected, but we gotta not let our ego get in the way.
What name do you go by in the clinic, like, with your patients? What do you if you introduce yourself to a six-year-old, what do you tell them your name is?
I say that I'm Spider-Man. No, but I tell them I'm Dr. Lou.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. I was
How
just
do
wondering if you
you
go by Steven with pediatrics because I know my
Oh,
wife,
yeah.
she's pediatrician, goes by Megan. Yeah, so I was
yeah,
wondering.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
How do you deal with that patient that doesn't see the value of what you're bringing?
For the
I don't push
parent?
it. Yeah, I don't push it. I cannot care more than you. I cannot.
Mhm,
I will show them though that here, this is why I'm worried. Here's an example of the tooth. I have pictures like a presentation. I just click on it and be like, this is what's inside the tooth. It's gonna grow, but we can deal with it when we deal with it. Like when they're in pain, you're just not gonna like it. They're gonna be uncomfortable.
mhm,
Um, and they're gonna be in pain, and just let us know when, right? And
mhm.
when, because I want them to like be like, Dr. Lou, can you please help me? I don't want them to be like, I don't want to go in there and be like, hey, let me help them out. And then they're like screaming, they're crying, and they're like, no, no, I shouldn't have. Sorry, sweetie, I didn't mean to like put you through this. I shouldn't have doctor done it. No, no, no. I want them to be like, please, Dr. Lou, I know she needs it. It's gonna get bigger. I want to help them. I want to get them into that mindset. So I'm not gonna push it.
Where did you get that approach or learn that from?
Um,
Because that sounds like a very Grant Cardone. Because you read 10x, right? And so
yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
salespeople, right? And Tony and I have been working on that with our side hustle.
yeah.
Um, don't be a product pusher, be a problem finder and a problem solver,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Provide, like you say, provide value. What did Dr. Greer say? You don't want to sell to people, you want them to buy from you.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
our product is dental health, right? Oral
yeah,
health care.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, the nice thing about the setup of pediatric dental offices is that it's open bay. So you can actually hear the conversations other parents are having,
Mm.
which it's a contrast, which is like, oh, he's infected, I'm infected. And if they didn't say like, next door, I can hear what like my assistant talked about. I'll be like, yeah, so this is what happened when, you let it grow. We're having to take it out now. They can hear all that you
Yeah.
know? But again, it's their own decision for their own child, which I'm not gonna push, but, eventually, they always come around, because they just see things are worse, and I'm not pushing it. I'm really not. I just say things the way they are. There's a cavity, it's growing. Um, I wanna get in there. It depends on you, though. Just let me know. And for the same-day treatment, I do a ton of same-day treatment, but I don't go, like, in my fee for service office, I would feel anxious if they like, "Wait, are they gonna say yes?" Like,
Are they gonna say yes? Yeah.
"That's my lunch, that's my dinner for the night." But no, no.
Yep.
Like, but that's kinda like I mean, your livelihood depends on it, right?
Mhm.
So, but psychology-wise, you just gotta be like, "Yeah, I can do it today or not. It's up to you." But they
Take
always
it or
choose
leave it.
yes. So,
Mhm.
I always have a lot of same-day treatment to do, you know? So, got off a little tangent right there. Wha
No,
Oh,
you
Right?
no,
didn't.
that's what we love, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're actually, it seems like you're dealing with like people think pediatric dentists deal with the kids. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
You're still dealing with adults. They're still making the
Oh, yeah.
financial decision, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Um,
Medicaid usually covers everything, so it's more like a emotional thing. I have, like, 98%, like, Medicaid. Yeah. But,
has
yeah,
anyone come in non-Medicaid because they found you online?
yeah, we have, we have TikTok bring a lot of other patients in, paying cash and, paying PPO, yeah. So, yeah, dealing with the parents is a skill, but it's so fun for me because this is a psychology game. For example, um, as with everything, it's about how you make that person feel. Do they feel
Mhm,
safe with you, right?
mhm,
So, when, I'm, like, injecting, I'm putting the topical first, and they're like, "Ah, it tastes like crap," like, they're about to throw up. I'm like, I don't let it get to me, right? I'm like, "Oh, man, it tastes bad?" Ah, you know why? It's probably because all you have at home is such good tasting food. Right, mom?
mhm,
What's your son's favorite food that he has? Or I ask them like, "Hey, buddy, what's your favorite food that your mom cooks?" Guess what? They feel good about themselves. They feel
mhm.
included in the conversation, and I just
Keep it
run that
going.
along. Dude, moms love me, man.
Mhm. That's the key to pediatrics, huh? Is
Right.
get the moms to love you, then you're golden.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah, yeah.
Are the dads ever there? Is it like all
Yeah,
moms?
yeah, they're a little bit more strict, and they're like, so do you to cater to that is you cater to their authoritarian, like, or their role in the family, which is, "Dad, what do you think?" Things like that. Or I, like, look at the dad more than the mom or whatever, but usually they don't know what the heck is going on ever.
Yeah, yeah.
But just I show, like, "Dude, you're the boss. You take care of it." Or, like, when they come by themselves, sometimes like, "Hey, you wanna ask, yeah, their mom first or whatever?" Like, sometimes they do that, like, "No, no, it's my I call the shots."
Yeah.
But, yeah, so
I call the shots.
you
Honey, is
you
it okay?
gotta dude, to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
successful, you gotta be emotionally intelligent. As
Mhm.
with everything, your relationships, strangers, coworkers, bosses, patients, you gotta be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
I think I'm very emotionally unintelligent. I uh I try really hard because I used to focus on the crown, the filling,
Mhm,
etc., right? Instead of what we're giving the patient, the value, the comfort, the function, aesthetics, whatever it is. In dentistry, it's easier to see your mistakes and try and fix them, right? Take a bite wing, you could see the crown
Yeah.
margin, the scan. How would
Mm.
you tell me to approach that in terms of psychology and connecting with my patients? Part of it's genetic, we all know that. Part of it is a skill that I think
mhm.
is much harder to train.
So you're saying to a dentist that feels that they're not emotionally intelligent, how can we learn that skill?
How can we train it?
Train it. Train it. Okay.
Because
Great question.
you talk about feedback loops. You talk, which
Right.
obviously it's great, right? We're not
Right.
writing down our conversations. We're not in
Right.
Florida. It's illegal to record conversations without the other
Right.
person's consent. So I'm not going to
Right.
be like, "Hey,
Mm.
All right.
Jane Smith, do you mind if I record me trying to sell you veneers so I
Yeah.
can learn how to do it better?" Right, right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Great question because at my new dentist CE course, the most valuable thing I learned was communication because he recorded the conversations he had with his patients, basically how to sell treatment. I mean, selling treatment is really just emotional connection and how do you
Yeah.
find their pain points, and that's sales. Um, he was in California though. I guess it was like a new law because now I know we can't record our conversations, right?
Oh.
Um, it's like, oh crap, I gotta delete all that.
Right,
But
There's
right.
so many people that I've worked with that they'll tell me, they're like, "Oh, just put your phone in your pocket, record the
oh,
conversation, and we'll
oh,
listen
really?
to it
I'm not
later."
sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be the best way to train it, right?
Mhm.
And you're not
Um,
doing anything wrong with it, but yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Talking to yourself though is not the same.
No,
because you
no,
don't
no,
have
no.
like the same feedback of just listening to yourself. So I'm a little bit more dumbfounded on that question. But if I were to go into it, I I did when I was training with the course, I did record myself say these things just to my phone. And it was awkward or whatever, but it did help me.
Mhm.
Um, and then you just going on social media helped me too because you're talking to an audience
Yeah.
and pitching a message, um, things like that. But yeah, record yourself is the next best thing.
Yeah.
These questions aren't meant to stump you. I'm actually genuinely curious
Yeah,
because
these
I'm
are
always
great
trying to
questions,
think
man.
of.
These are awesome questions, man.
So you're sorry, Tony. I've been dominating this conversation.
I was
I'm
going
like
to
a
say
bad
you're
girlfriend.
just crushing it, man. No, you've had a slew of amazing questions, and so yeah, keep firing.
This is what the kids called yapping nowadays, from what I hear. I wouldn't know.
Yada yada
Um,
yada.
someone on an unnamed dating app responded to one of my photos like, "This is Schmidt coded, like Schmidt from the New Girl," and I was like, "What? Like, what are these words?" Um, you are a general dentist who is limited to pediatric dentistry
Yeah.
right now. There
Yes.
are tons of tons. I don't know. There are some dental students, there are some dentists who want to work with kids who want to limit their practice to pediatric dentistry. I'm going to put the legitimacy of the idea of residency to the side. For the doc that wants to limit their practice to pediatrics, I think wrongly compared to limiting it to endo, to surgery, right? Those seem dangerous. I would say pediatrics is also dangerous. You are setting these kids' life up, their dental experiences up for future dental care. How
Mhm.
would you recommend a dentist who wants to do more pediatrics, eventually limit their practice to pediatrics, go about it like you did to end up where you are? That's what I meant.
Okay. Great question. Um, I would start with the Medicaid pediatric clinics because those are the ones that basically will hire anybody. Because if you're like a fee for service pediatric dental office, they're not going to hire a general dentist. Usually,
Mhm.
I've seen it happen, but usually not, because the moms are more. They'll research you, right? When I worked in
Mhm.
the, so we have different entities in our practice. There's the Medicaid, there's the PPO, there's the ones that only pediatric dentists work. There's surgery center where some pediatric dentists work, some general dentists work. If you want to work at the surgery center, so yeah, the Medicaid pediatric dental offices hire a lot of GPs. So you basically work backwards, like you're a patient. Check for kids' dental offices. Check if they have Medicaid. Are they advertising Medicaid consistently? Yeah, they're a Medicaid pediatric office. They're likely hire you. Now, to gain the skill, like I said before, you just got to put the reps in. There's plenty of reps you will have in a Medicaid pediatric office. And, when I talk to some pediatric dentists now, I just tell them to start working in a Medicaid pediatric dental office so they can get more reps. Because when you work in a PPO fee for service office, it's just everything's going to be slowed down because you're going to talk to the mom
Yeah.
and the dad. And then by the time you get to doing the dentistry, well, you didn't have enough reps. And guess what? They are laser focused on you. Laser focused. So that makes you nervous, right? So if you
Yeah.
haven't had enough experience, it's not gonna be fun. So you gotta put the reps in. So, it's really different when I worked at the PPO office and the Medicaid pediatric office because I can do 2 or 3 SSCs in the time I was talking to the PPO mom, you know? Like, "Okay,
Mhm.
this is what fluoride does. This is, what we're gonna do with the tooth. This is what we're gonna, do for little Johnny here." But again, once you do enough, it becomes a system, and then you could just replicate it for anybody.
Would you ever work at a fee for service pediatric clinic now that you've got the skills?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for any door.
Okay.
that opens for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever go back to treating adults and doing endos and everything? I know you said
Dude,
you're open, but like, are you
I don't
like,
want to. I don't
yeah.
want to, but if, like, life goes that way, if I lose my job, I know I will be successful anywhere because I have that mindset now. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I've learned, like, okay, this is how a good column management works, and, this is how many assistants I need, and this is how the flow through the clinic should be. So now I've learned everything that leads to success. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
in this type of like office, but now I learned what makes success possible. So I can take that, put it into anywhere I go. But now it's just more of a like a preference then, if that was the case.
Mhm. Yeah. I saw your eyes light up again, Alex. Go for it.
What would your next career be? Not dentistry, not social media.
Well, it would be like, part teaching online. I want to speak on a stage.
Unrelated to dentistry.
Oh, okay, okay,
10 years unrelated to what you're
okay.
doing now. What is Stephen Liu gonna be?
I don't know. Race
Because
on the
you're right.
race
You
on the
strike me as
track.
someone who's going to be successful at anything they do.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh-huh.
sure, like, I know you really genuinely seem like you love your life. And I hope people hear this because I think with your attitude, what I love that you said is that you can be successful in anything you do. Some might take that as arrogant. You have the acts to back it up. You put your mind to it. You downgraded, and I want to put that in quotes. I hope everyone sees that if you're listening to this on audio. These
Mhm.
are quote marks. Downgraded from PPO to Medicaid, and you seem happier. Your career's taken off, in all aspects, and you are going to
You took a
take
pay
that
cut.
to the next thing. Yeah, yeah. Well, pay cut. He's fucking making millions.
Yeah.
But you're going to take that into the next career. Where has your mind gone, if anywhere at all?
Haven't really thought about it that much. I mean, I like driving cars. Maybe do some racing. I have no idea.
Okay.
I do competitive online racing sometimes, and I'm not that great on it, but I uh, I love doing that. I like being competitive, but mostly with myself.
Like you have a
Yeah.
simulator?
Dude, he's right here.
Do do people know this about you
Oh yeah, yeah,
online?
yeah, yeah.
Have I just
Yeah.
missed this? Oh, okay.
So
What?
yeah, here's a manual gearbox right there.
Oh, nice.
I bought my car that I have now. I didn't even know how to drive it. Never driven stick before, and then I was like, okay, if I played it on the game, okay, if I could drive it off the
The
lot,
M4
okay,
is a stick?
the M2, M2, yeah, it's
M2.
man.
Okay. Damn, I never knew that, man. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
Not
bought it,
many of us that can do a stick these days.
stalled like crazy all
Yeah.
the time, freaking nervous, and then I had a little like new driver sticker. Beware, whatever. My brand new
Scared of
M2.
hills.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I drove to work the next day. And guess what? That's another thing. I talked about this in another podcast. That gave me confidence too. Doing hard things, doing things I don't
Mhm,
expect that are like out of the ordinary. Like
mhm.
doing things that are like, yeah, I had the oh dang, Doctor, Steven had the audacity to do this type of thing.
You bought it before you knew how to do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
I do
that's a
it
full
and then
send.
figure it out along the way. You
Yep.
know.
And you did that with your
Uh,
pediatrics. So yeah.
Yeah, with my online collaborations, I'm just saying, "Hey, can't wait to work with you." Guess what? They just respond to me and like, "Okay, let's work together."
Let's do it.
I just pitch it into the universe, and the universe says, "Here you go."
Mhm.
Do you believe in God?
Great question. I think there's some sort of creator. Like if you look at the animals, like the life, us as a life form, and the small little creatures. I'm like, how does it just happen from like a big bang and just like just everything like that? that I believe in evolution, but I feel like it's guided. And I think ever since my grandma passed away, I would like to believe there is a heaven, like that's controlled by a god or somebody that is taking care of her. I think that's what made me start to think like that. Yeah.
What's one lesson your grandma taught you that you'll never forget?
Great question. These are great questions. I mean, she's like the normal average Asian grandma that's like, "Oh, just study hard, just go to dental school or things like that." But I think just working hard.
Mhm.
I think just working hard. I don't think anybody can beat consistency in hard work. Like, dude, you guys are wearing jerseys. I don't watch basketball or football, but I actually really vibe. So went to University of Michigan where Tom Brady went. I vibe
Mhm.
with Tom Brady and I vibe with Kobe Bryant in their work ethic.
Yeah.
Like if you're up before anybody else and you're putting in the work, like just by the sheer amount of volume and reps you're putting in, it success becomes inevitable. It just
Mhm.
it's there's too many reps, you know, for you to fail.
Yeah.
Like Steph Curry, he's done thousands of shots before he just made that couple 3 pointers during the game. He's done it
Yeah.
many times.
I
And it
saw something.
rephrases failure too, I think. Like, when you get all those reps, it reframes your definitions of failure, that
Right. Hmm.
it's not an immediate failure and there's things you can do to get around it or work through it, and all of those things.
Yeah, 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 totally.
Feel like this podcast has had a relatively somber note. I apologize for that. Usually
No,
they're much
yeah.
more fun and upbeat. Honestly, Tony, do you have anything?
Honestly, no. I've loved you guys' conversation. I feel like I've been the third wheel for the most part today, which is kind of abnormal, I feel like, for our podcast. But no, I've just Alex has been you've been asking really deep questions that are awesome to hear. And Stephen, you're doing an amazing job of answering these very esoteric questions and then somehow bringing them back to dentistry. So I think there's been a ton of value. I guess my one question is, you've thrown out the phrase mantra. You've mentioned 3 or 4 mantras on this phone call. If you had to give me the 5 mantras that Dr. Lou lives by in order, not necessarily like number 1, number 2, number 4, number 5, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
are your 5 mantras that you're like, this is my mantras.
Okay, okay, yeah. All right. First one, guys, to end to the audience. Uh, Having a great attitude dictates how you will go about your life. And then if you have a good attitude, you would go about your life well, and then you would do it well.
Mhm.
Another mantra is be comfortable with being uncomfortable because life is going to get hard no matter what in every situation. Uh, you got to work through it, and then things will be easier to get through. You become stronger.
Yeah.
Third, can't outwork or you can't beat consistency.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm forgetting the other the fourth and fifth. I know I said a
Yeah,
few
I was
other.
gonna say, Tony, 5 is a
Yeah.
lot.
I was
5
like
is a
Yeah,
lot. People usually have like
those 3
1.
are I think those 3 are awesome, man. And I sorry to put you on the spot to list off
No,
5,
you're
but
good.
no, those you certainly had those 3 throughout, and we've seen those all throughout your social media posts. I know that there's more in there, and probably as soon as we get off, the 6 or 7 will pop right into your head. But I think you didn't get all that from books, and just kind of like Alex said at the beginning, I think so many people, I've been guilty of this, is you read these mantras and excellent ideas in books, but you read it, you go about your day, and it never gets implemented. And you haven't taken every single thing you've read, I'm sure of it, but you've grabbed the main concepts and implemented those. So, what's a book? I know Alex hit on this a little bit, but a book that you would say every dentist or most dentists should read that's not related to clinical dentistry.
I think only to spend 15, $20 and get not happiness advantage because
Okay.
that will improve not just your work life but your whole life. And when your home life is good, so will your work life. And your work life is good, so will your home life.
Yep.
Everything is integrated together, and you can't really just cut a cord between the two as much as we try to. So if you can harmonize all that by learning to live life better, then you're going to have an overall great life.
You'll be happier, which is the
Yep.
goal of life. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I respectfully disagree. It's also $8 on Amazon. If anyone's curious, I'm about to buy it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Alex is showing us on the screen right now.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
That might have my address on it. Anyway, no, I think that's great. Thank you for spending the time. I guess the reason is I am not even half the clinician you are, but I aspire to be a
don't say
person. No, it's not about that. I mean, we could compare work, but this conversation isn't about that. I think dentistry is a very, what do they say? Comparison is a thief of joy, right? But also, it's how you get better. Like, I think we should be honest. If you're not comparing yourself to anyone, right? How do you know that you're improving and
Yeah.
seeing your work more than your work, your attitude? I think anyone could be in your position in a Medicaid mill. And I use that word on purpose, even though I know it's not. You're doing great work, but like you're seeing tons of patients, you're putting on credible work with a freaking fantastic attitude, right? And where are you practicing?
In Madeira, but Fresno, basically the Fresno area, Central California.
Okay.
You're in competitive California. You get taxed high, Medicaid, office, kids, the whole everything that everyone out of dental school doesn't want.
It's everything
right?
dental school would tell you not to go for.
And you are one of the most inspiring, happiest people I've
Yeah.
ever talked to.
Thank you, man.
And if
Thank
you can do it, why can't anyone? I'm not going to say everyone can
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
but people haven't even tried, right? They either try and fake it on social media or they don't try hard enough, let's be honest. And so I want everyone to follow at Dentistry with Steven. It was honestly an honor to have you on our podcast. I assumed you'd be like this, but even I was floored. And I'm going to go into work tomorrow with the attitude, a different attitude, honestly, right? Because I feel, private practice, I work for a prosthodontist. It's not, and I had some slow days, and I've kind of been sitting in some anger and frustration about the quality of my work, how things are run, and why, who's it helping? So I hope someone hears this in a similar situation from me and know that you can turn around. So thank you. Is there anything you want to let the lovely people know?
Yeah. So let's do a shout out to my Instagram. Hey, hey guys, I am on a podcast with the Educated Associate Instagram, Alex and Tony. So we're just talking, having a great time.
What up,
And
guys?
we're gonna upload that soon. Peace.
Love it. Peace.
All right.
Wait, so you shoot on a GoPro?
No, well, it's a DJI Action 5 camera.
Okay. I was actually curious. I'm curious about influencer setups. Do you have like 10 minutes? Because I'm trying to improve the quality of my, like the actual video and quality. So how do I do that?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me about what I'm using. They think it's my phone, but it's not. It's this thing right here. I don't know how they process the video digitally, but it looks great. And another thing, the battery is plenty. I'm always carrying this wherever I go. And when you just press record, it will just immediately turn on and record. So you capture the moment right away. It's better battery life than GoPro. I got GoPro and it freaking sucks. It's like half an hour and you're like, it's overheating,
Yes. And the video quality's trash, I feel like, a lot of times.
You know what? Shout out to DJI. I'm going to start working with them.
Stock.
Yeah. I have a DSLR with like 3 different lenses, and I recorded my first few videos during the rebrand with that. But now I don't even use it anymore because I can just grab and go, start talking to the camera. I don't need a suction cup on my window to hold my DSLR up anymore. and it's bulky, and it's just sitting there now. I just use this. This is $300,
Yeah.
by the way.
What's the actual name of the camera,
Camera?
the model?
DJI Action 5 Pro.
Word. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Wow, my videos are about to get so much better.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think
Well,
I'm getting a call from my kiddos. I want to go grab my kids. Steven, man,
Okay.
great chatting with
All
you.
right,
I know
brother.
we've messaged on DMs and everything, but
Yes, sir.
hopefully stay in good communication with you. And thanks for your time on an evening.
Thank you.
Peace
Thank
out,
you.
guys.
Good night. Appreciate
All
it,
right,
guys.
fellas.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Bye.